How many times have you poured every ounce of your energy into a relationship, only to walk away feeling completely empty? You give, you accommodate, you compromise, and somehow you are the only one left drained. Singer-songwriter Misti lived this exact dynamic. Like a lot of highly empathetic people, she operated on a specific, somewhat naive hypothesis. If you show someone what true, unconditional love looks like, they will naturally learn from your example and treat you with that same respect. But in practice, applying boundless empathy to a toxic partner does not fix them. When you constantly forgive bad behavior and look past glaring red flags, you are actually teaching the other person that your personal boundaries are optional. Giving without limits offers no cure for a broken dynamic. It traps the giver in a predictable cycle of self-destruction. Misti documented her break from that cycle in the song, Enough. If we look at the official lead sheet, the specific musical choices she made reflect that psychological shift. Take the key signature, G minor. In classical music theory, G minor is often used to evoke deep melancholy, discontent, and internal struggle. It sets the stage for a mind at war with itself. Now look at the time signature. This is a visualizer mapping out a 3/4 time structure. Instead of the standard 4-beat pop measure, 3/4 time counts out in threes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, creating the continuous rhythmic sway of a waltz. For Misti, that 3/4 waltz mirrors the behavioral loop she was stuck in. Give, forgive, ignore the red flags, then repeat. By writing the song in this exact time signature, Misti locks the listener into the same repetitive, exhausting emotional cycle that she was living through. The song starts fast, mimicking the deceptive magic of a new romance. In the first verse, she describes meeting someone, late-night calls, and an instant connection. But she drops a major warning sign with the lyric, "Our story already wrote its end." That opening verse captures the pattern of projecting our best hopes onto a stranger. You jump in too quickly, and your brain fills in the gaps with the version of the person you desperately want them to be. Then the illusion breaks. Verse 2 strips away the romance and forces us into the reality of what the relationship actually is. The lyrics shift. She sings about red flags waving dangerously high, stories that do not add up, and months of silence sailing by. The charming stranger from verse 1 is gone. Staying in a situation like that requires immense cognitive dissonance. You have to convince yourself that if you just try a little harder, if you just love them better, you can fix them and bring back the fantasy. The trying to bridge the gap between an idealized fantasy and a toxic reality requires constant emotional labor. The longer you try to hold those two opposing ideas together, the more energy you lose. That exhaustion leads to the emotional climax of the song, the chorus, where Misti introduces the central metaphor. You can't fill a leaking vessel. This logic diagram shows the physics of pouring a liquid into a cracked container. Because the vessel is broken at its base, the retention rate stays at 0, making the effort of filling it futile. This is the realization Misti hit. You can double the input. You can pour out every drop of love you have. But the problem was never the volume of her love. The container she was pouring it into was incapable of holding it. The waltz breaks down in the pre-chorus. The lyrics become sharp and direct. I gave and I gave. You took and you took. The rhythm feels heavier because the endless repetition has finally drained the giver. You cannot outgive a toxic dynamic. Pouring everything you have into someone who refuses to repair their own cracks guarantees that you will end up empty. Eventually, the breaking point arrives. For Misti, it didn't come with a massive screaming match or a dramatic argument. It arrived quietly, a sudden, undeniable switch flipping in her brain, where the truth was simply clear. That psychological shift happens in the song's bridge. She sings, "I'm walking away from who I thought I knew, a wiser me for having loved you." She finally accepts that her view of love, one based on unconditional forgiveness, lacks the power to force another person to change their behavior. This metronome is ticking precisely at 95 beats per minute, the exact tempo of the song. At this speed, the track moves at the pace of a steady, deliberate walk. The song shifts the listener from the stagnant cycle of the waltz into a rhythm of actual movement. In this context, leaving a toxic relationship isn't an act of aggression. It's the decision to maintain that steady pace towards self-preservation. As the song concludes, the final chords repeat over and over, and the meaning of the title track evolves. Throughout the song, the word enough represents her personal inadequacy, the feeling that whatever I do, it's never enough. By the final fade-out, she flips the definition entirely, declaring an ironclad limit: I've had enough. In the aftermath, she mourns the time lost, but she walks away whole. Her inner child is healed, and while she retains her capacity for kindness, it is now protected by unbreakable self-worth. Misti's experience points to a singular, uncomfortable truth. We teach people how to treat us by what we are willing to accept. A boundary is meaningless until the exact moment you are brave enough to enforce it.